Hello, this panel is online video after Gangnam Style, which is fairly open-ended. But, my name is Dan Brown. I will be moderating. I am a host for Fuse the Music Network. I got my start video blogging though, so as overexposed as we all were to Gangnam Style, I was forced to watch it about 10 times every day. So if we just want to go down the line and introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'll make this quick because we're short on time. My name is Austin Lau. I work at YouTube in San Bruno. I work on development programs for up-and-coming channels.
My name is Chestersee. YouTuber, a personal channel, one of the founders of Guidebook.
I'm Nate Olson. I work for Frederator. I think we're here I'm here as in the role of a traditional media company that's making a big play on YouTube. We have a funded channel called Cartoon Hangover where we do TV quality cartoons just for YouTube. My role.
Very cool. My name is Shira, Lazar. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I see you. I have a daily live show called What's Trending, where we curate the hot YouTube videos. We also have all your favorite YouTube stars and celebrities come by to talk about what they're up to and interact live with you. Check it out. What's Trending and subscribe.
Hi, my name is Mike Rugnetta. I write and host a YouTube show for PBS called Idea Channel.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
You're
so
making people smart.
That's not, I don't want to take that.
in the booklet, in the description of this panel, the question that they pose is, what does Gangnam Style mean for creators, which is incredibly open-ended. So, but I just want any of the creators who are here, has it affected your outlook on YouTube or how you are creating content at all, or is it more of just kind of an important benchmark? And I will direct that at Chester.
I think that it's just it's a benchmark that is. For the last few years, we're sort of just waiting for the views to catch up to some of the views that you see in the linear channels and network television and whatnot. And I've always felt like it's been this big thing that's based on perception, everything's based on perception, and the brands see network television as something worth paying for. But they pay for that. I have a show like, I always use an example, but you have a show like The Office that gets $40 million in P&A money. That creates a brand that's worth something in itself. So we don't have any of that money, Google. So it's hard to create, it's hard to take something and actually give it the proper marketing that it deserves. This year, outside of Gangnam Style, House of Cards was the one show we saw actually get the sort of support you're supposed to give good content. Sure. They put $100 million, they put their money where their mouth was, and look what you get. You get a great show that's actually worth buying into. So after as we see more and more videos surpass 1 billion views so easily, all we have to do now is convince them that there's consistency in quality content and raise production quality and show that it's a little more structured. I think it's the only thing the brands are really waiting for.
So as a musician specifically, has it changed anything about how you approach YouTube, or is it more just, oh, this is a funny Korean guy singing a song?
Yeah, no, not really. Again, it's just, the views are practically there. If you look at some of the viewership that some of the top YouTubers consistently get, it's equivalent to a lot of some of the views that network television gets. The difference is that the brands still see the content online as user-generated content, and for them, user-generated content has a negative connotation attached to it. But we want to take that away. So the fact that we're getting videos that surpass 1 billion views is great, but it's again, I don't think views are the argument as much as quality is the argument.
And if you think about how much bigger, it went beyond even YouTube, but started with YouTube, the conversation, you could say it's even more than 1 billion. How much that video was seen based on a YouTube video, which I think even says something even more powerful about the platform and about how you look at an experience, a content experience in general, and what we're creating. It's not necessarily, it's what we're sharing on the platform and how much it extends out. And that's something that I feel like brands and traditional companies, and we're all just starting to wrap our head around, is where is this even seen beyond, the player? And then it leads back to that experience that you end up sharing, and that sort of reaches 1 billion views.
Now, one thing I do want to ask, Now that now that it's understood that videos can hit 1 billion views, is there some risk of, because YouTube has always been this platform where the whole selling point is that there's a very low barrier to entry, anyone can do it. Is there some risk though now that Simon's had 1 billion views that some people might feel intimidated by that and not create as much? Austin, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the really exciting things about Sai's video is, I mean, he's an independent artist. He didn't have a lot of marketing as opposed to things like House of Cards, which have pretty large marketing budgets behind them. So to see kind of the power and the distribution network that YouTube has is really, really encouraging. I think from my perspective, it's actually, if I were a creator, and I don't create video myself, but we definitely are encouraged by how quickly, I mean, it's at 1.45 billion actually as of this morning. So it was just like announced, what was it, I feel like 2 weeks ago that it hit 1 billion. So to grow another $500 million in 2 or 3 weeks is really encouraging. With over 800 million people coming to YouTube every month, the numbers are only just going higher and higher, and so I think it's really encouraging for us to see a video grow so quickly with such little marketing muscle behind it.
I have a question for Mike. So it cracked 1 billion views on December 21st, 2012. The world did not end that day. Is Sai the first horseman of the apocalypse?
General apocalypse or internet apocalypse?
It's open to your interpretation.
Oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and say based totally on his manner of dress, yes. I think, and I'm gonna turn it back on you.
Sure.
Now, which Ninja Turtle do you think Sai would be?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. That was a little before my time. I was not.
Five? Winnie Wolf.
We're going to go with Leonardo.
That was the purple thing.
Donatello?
Donatello.
Donatello?
It's definitely Donatello.
You have Donatello?
Okay, I'm gonna steal moderation from Dan now. We're gonna do a show of hands. Who thinks Sai would be Donatello? Leonardo?
He's smart. Sai's smart.
You know what? Sai is a smart person.
Raphael?
Because Raphael has size.
Michelangelo?
Why Michelangelo?
Definitely.
Because he's the party dude.
He was Splinter.
I think Sai's a serious man.
I feel like we're off topic.
And one thing I'm curious, just for anyone when we're talking about Sai, where in the phenomenon did all of you sort of catch on that, oh, this is a thing? Like, how many views did it have when you all first saw it, and where did you first see it? This is the sort of thing you
Well,
just
Damon, who works with me, will say he saw it at 50,000.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah, he saw it. That we
too.
covered it like when it was like around that, like maybe 100 or something, and we were like, this is gonna be huge. It was just crazy. It was wacky and weird.
Because at a certain point, it turned into this phenomenon. It was a phenomenon because it was a phenomenon. It fed on itself. But I guess what I'm curious from all your opinions about is what accounted for the initial million? What was the first burst of virality?
I mean, it is factually it's a very catchy song.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue
No,
that
it's the video with the song.
I'm also going to argue that he's an Asian performer, and this is a
Oh, where's this going?
this is a very
Careful.
tenuous claim, but there is a built-in fan base for a certain level of thing that will get behind, that kind of product and push it way out.
Sure.
Right? So it got a bump at some point, and I think that when these the psychographics of the people who first were into Sai, and then who got into it later, and all those things are really fascinating. But I think that can't be discounted. The other thing, music-wise, it's a music piece.
Yes, I think there's more it opened up to a very wide demographic of viewer because you had the people that were viewing it because they actually enjoyed it. Then you also had people that were viewing it because they just wanted to make fun of it. and it was quality in humor and quality in sonically as a song. So it just, I think everyone had a reason to watch it.
It had something, besides the shareability of it, it had something that you could repeat yourself, which that meme factor, I think has a lot to do with the shareability of it, the fact that you could repeat it very easily with the beat and do your own examples of it that you then upload and it shares it with your friends, then you should you share the original as well.
It was kind of like a precursor to the Harlem Shake. In that
Well,
way.
absolutely. Actually, this is something you see over and over again. Is those a regimented dance move? Goes viral. I'll date myself, but "Achy Breaky Heart" was one. You know, you wonder where Miley Cyrus came from. It's because her dad had a huge pop hit that had a dance associated with this catchy song. He also had, I can't remember the name of it, Macarena was another video that just went really
There was
huge.
a 24/7 radio station when I was young.
I mean,
Younger, that's like the Macarena 24/7.
So this is,
Different versions.
They close at 11 now, right?
this is a modern version of that kind of, you know, it connects with humans. They like singing, they like dancing, they like that it's reproducible themselves. He was on, you know, he was exhibiting himself in this way.
Wacky.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why the Gautier song didn't get to 1 billion first, right? Because that was also super popular.
But the Gautier song, the difference with the Gautier song is the covers were popular before the actual
Right.
song. It wasn't the original song, whereas this, the actual song and the video was the most popular thing, and then the covers and all the other stuff came out of it.
The Gautier song also was a much slower burn. Like it was around for a long time.
And no one's passing around and making fun of it either.
Right, not that one.
I think one of the other things about Gangnam Style is we're talking a lot about it now, and people are into mimicking it. I mean, I bet everyone in this room has danced in their own side video. I definitely have. I've got a few. And Sai just totally like embraced the YouTube community. He started that conversation with viewers around the world, and because of that, you know, people started creating spoofs, started creating all these parodies and fun their own side videos. Like we did one at YouTube Corporate as a fun kind of team building activity because it's fun, right? And so I think that conversation, not to say that Gautier didn't do that, although I don't know as much about it.
Well, he did a mashup of all his covers, and it just wasn't the same type of song shareability, global connection. It was an English song. Like this, it didn't matter what language you spoke, you connected with the song.
No, I'd argue that one of the reasons Gangnam Style worked was that he did have an English phrase.
Well, yeah, they got
Or whatever. it was.
Gangnam Style.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Sexy
it was
lady.
But like, hey, sexy lady. But you didn't. It didn't matter. You could just, move and groove to it and pretend you're singing to it, even if you don't know the language.
Sure. Now, one thing I am curious about, and this is probably an Austin question, but if anyone has insight on it, what is the Korean YouTube community like? Like, what sort of videos do people post in Korea that make it different from like insofar as size original basis?
Yeah, that's a good question. So mine, and I don't work a lot in the Korean market, but K-pop generally music over there is very popular. Vlogging and kind of what we see as more mainstream here in the United States is not quite as popular. So there was already kind of a disposition, I would say, in Asia for this. But the uptake of this video and the views, I don't have the breakdown, the percentage of views by country of Gangnam Style, but we're largely obviously out of Korea. So sustain that viewership. But
I mean, the other part of it is K-pop is a big export around the world, and particularly in the Pacific Rim. And so it had a built-in audience for that. That's billions of people. I mean, hundreds of millions, obviously.
Yes. Yeah. Does this say more about where YouTube is at right now, or does this, because 1 billion views on some video, in a certain sense, was inevitable. Some video was going to get this. Or does it say more about where the music industry is at? Like, is it possible for a musician to be successful right now without YouTube?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Explain.
Please elaborate, Chester.
Don't quote me on this, because this was just in conversation actually yesterday, but I believe Macklemore, there was somebody that did a cover in here that sold more than Macklemore did or something.
Yeah.
Along those lines.
But no one knows about them as much.
Yeah,
because
but
they're
it was because of the following on it. Anyway, yes, I think I know a lot of the musicians on YouTube, and outside of the fact that they're able to convert their viewers into purchasing consumers for a lot of the music, that there's a lot of ancillary revenue that they create as well. I'd say the top 20 musicians are probably all, I would assume all of them are earning 6 figures in income just from doing what they do online. And I think what we do have at the very least is a middle class musician for the first time, where you have an ability to make $100, $200, $300,000 a year income as a musician, which was not really the case before. I mean, really, outside of a few anomalies, the music industry is like either you are selling CDs out of your car, or you are a multi-million, dollar.
Did you just use the phrase middle-class musician? Is that something you just said?
Yeah. Did I make that up? Did I coin that? Is that mine?
Dude, I'm writing a blog post on that, like right now. Middle class musician. musician.
No, stop.
Road to the middle class musician.
I think one of the other things, aside from the views, is, you know, Sai was able to build, I mean, he's built this huge brand now, and I think a lot of people overlook that with YouTube. They say, okay, you have views, you have this many subscribers, like, you know, X number of people know you when you walk through a room or come to Playlist Live. But Sai has definitely grown his brand globally. He was known, you know, within Korea before the Gangnam Style, but as a result now is, you know, a worldwide icon. Whether you love it or hate it, everyone knows who he is.
Now, does he have a future, or is he a one-hit wonder globally?
Well,
This is the billion-dollar question. Billion-dollar question.
everyone's wondering. I mean, like I know some of the, you know, he's with Scooter Braun's people now, the people that manage Justin Bieber. And I know, you know, he's come out with, or has music under his sleeve, but maybe it's really hard to follow up on something like that because everyone's gonna be so judgmental. You can't almost create a better hit than that was.
Yeah.
So do you go the other direction as a musician, or do you go on something like Dancing with the Stars to show part of like another side of you? You know, we want to see the soft side.
Yeah, I think there are more people that are. People are more fans. I can't speak. There are more fans of his songs than there are of Psy, for sure. Like that number is not indicative of how many people are fans of Psy at all. And so whether or not he's going to be around, yeah, it really depends on what he comes up with next. Because I could care less as to what he like if he puts out another song.
Can we go back to like that? Do you need to make it as an artist? You know, just by being big on YouTube? Because I think it's interesting. Someone TechCrunch had, and a lot of people had articles about this past week with Justin Timberlake's album and Alex Day. Now Alex Day beat.
Okay.
Is that it?
Maybe that-
Now Alex Day beat Justin Timberlake.
That's what.
And it was like a Bob Russell wrote a whole thing about it, and how it's like really showed a sign of the times where you can be, you know, it's like what you said, like an independent musician and leverage this community. It doesn't mean, I mean, I think it does a huge thing for what's possible as an artist. Doesn't mean like, oh, if you're not on YouTube, you can't survive. But I do think you need to take advantage of like the art of the music video goes a long way as an artist this day and age. It's like YouTube is bringing that back, and it helps the art of making music.
This is like the fundamental difference between a YouTuber and a YouTube video that went viral. Is that this is what's, and this is, I think this is really important to understand if you're, you know, in the world of YouTube, is that YouTubers have fans of them, and it's based a lot on their personality and what they, you know, consistently putting out content, but they're fans of them. And so something like, you know, some of these mainstream artists, we talk about is Psy going to be around? What I love about the YouTube community is that, and being a YouTuber, is you are in so much more control of making sure you stick around. Sure. Because you are on a day-to-day thinking of like, oh, I should collaborate, make sure I'm getting, you know, seen by another audience. And if it really is you that is attracting those fans, like you as your person, who you are, then that's actually something that you can control, and that it is possible.
I think that, you know, for me, this segues into a question of how many channels have 1 billion views on them? Like, who else is in the billion view?
I think it's under 10. Bing?
You know, that's really remarkable in and of itself. Across, you know, all those videos, they have 1 billion views on their channel. That's a big number. I also want to say, like, we have. I want to say which episodes we have, but we have 2 episodes of Bravest Warriors, which is our big show on Cartoon Hangover. For me to make money back at like the modest CPM advertising rate that we get through TrueView ads, those videos will need to do 500 million views.
Good times.
Right?
That note,
One of those videos will.
That's because the brands aren't paying the right rates yet.
Well, so this is the question. But we will make money based off of merchandise and licensing.
But you shouldn't have to.
But as an ad to play, it doesn't make sense to do.
Right now, the advertisers are getting a crazy deal because we're letting them.
Does anybody know how much money Psy made off of, was there a report of an estimate?
I read something, it wasn't as much as you might expect.
Right, because you would expect there would be a ton of money, and it's, yeah.
I mean, it was over 1 million from YouTube alone.
Right.
I would hope.
I heard one point.
Good question.
No, we do have time for a few questions.
Is YouTube ever going to take a stand for higher CPMs? Maybe once they cut off the lower CPMs, then that's when the tides are gonna change.
Yeah,
Are you planning?
Our sales team is always working very hard to get more advertisers
And we have
What's the main barriers?
we've seen Google sales on our channel. The CPM is much higher off of the sold stuff, right? It's that low like auction level true view stuff that is $1 to $2.
I always thought that had Google not, taken away the sort of exclusivity of being a partner, that we would be able to differentiate between what was user-generated content that advertisers didn't want to be attached to, and content that was quality that they would, and those CPM and RPMs would go up. But they didn't do that.
Is that what being part of a network, does that help?
No, but I think yes, but that's more like, isn't that more the scale model? They're trying to roll people up and create, like, I guess so, but it's not working. I mean, yeah, in theory, it's similar, but it doesn't seem like it's working.
One more thing, like, why don't you just continue to lower CPM? Like, maybe half of the people who are gonna complain, or clients complain.
would you rather-
But then inevitably the rates will raise.
Right, but it's not that simple. I mean, would you rather get paid zero instead of, you
How is it
know?
not that simple? Please clarify that.
You can't just shut down monetization. We can't just say that you can't make money off of your
We need
videos.
to know what it is through the people buying ads through AdSense. Why don't we up the price of clicks and discontinue?
And actually, I have just received word that we do need to wrap this up because we are running long. So if you have questions, we can talk to any of the panelists outside, but we need to talk about this panel. So thank you, everybody. We shoot